Ryan stood in front of his dock cabin, the place where he'd scattered his wife's ashes 2 years ago. The new lock on the door felt like a slap to her memory. The Homeowners Association's note taped to it read, "Access revoked due to violations." Violations? Ryan's anger surged. This cabin was all he had left of her, and someone thought they could take it away. If you love a good HOA revenge story like this, hit that subscribe button for more. They're coming. Ryan tried his key, but it didn't work. The cabin, nestled on the edge of Lakeview Estates, was his refuge. He'd built it himself, every plank a tribute to his late wife, Emily. He wasn't the type to cause trouble. His dock was tidy, his boat secured, and his small solar panel hidden neatly. But Susan Carter, the HOA president, had been gunning for him. Susan, with her fake smile and endless rules, couldn't stand his cabin's rugged look. She wanted everything in the neighborhood to match her perfect vision. He checked his phone's security app. The smart lock was offline. The new padlock gleamed, cheap and out of place on his handcrafted door. Someone had come while he was at work, messing with his property. Susan didn't know Ryan had hidden cameras around the dock, tiny lenses tucked into the roofline and disguised as dock lights. They recorded everything, and he was about to make her regret this. Ryan walked to the cabin's side, glancing at the camera hidden in the gutter. It was still there, its tiny light blinking. He'd installed the system after a neighbor warned him about Susan's tricks, how she'd slap people with fake fines or tampered with their stuff to push them out. Ryan wasn't wealthy, but he was clever. As a network technician, he set up surveillance for businesses. Protecting his own space was second nature. He drove to a coffee shop, his mind buzzing. In a quiet corner, he opened his laptop and logged into his encrypted server. The camera feeds were there, backed up automatically. He clicked the footage from that morning. At 10:22 a.m., Susan strutted onto the dock, pointing at the cabin. A guy in a gray jumpsuit followed with a toolbox. Susan's voice crackled through the hidden mic in the dock post. "Hurry up. He's gone till tonight." The guy swapped the lock and taped the note. Susan said, "This'll show him who's in charge." Ryan's lips curled into a grim smile. She'd handed him evidence on a platter. He saved the footage, time-stamped it, and backed it up to his cloud. Susan thought she was untouchable, but she was wrong. He could call the cops, but that'd drag on. He wanted her to feel the weight of her own arrogance. He dialed his friend Jake, a lawyer who knew HOA disputes. "They locked me out of my cabin," Ryan said. "I've got video. What do I do?" Jake let out a low whistle. "Video? That's a slam dunk. Meet me tomorrow with it. We'll tear her apart legally." Ryan agreed, but he wasn't stopping there. He drove back to the dock, parking out of sight. In the dark, he slipped a small tracker onto Susan's car, parked near the HOA clubhouse. If she was bold enough to change his lock, she might try something else. He needed to know her moves. Back at his apartment, Ryan couldn't rest. The cabin wasn't just wood and nails. It was Emily's dream, the one they'd sketched together on napkins. Susan's stunt was like spitting on that dream. He checked the tracker app. Susan's car hadn't moved, but the cameras caught her creeping by the dock at 11:45 p.m., shining a flashlight on the lock. Why was she back? Ryan's instinct screamed she was planning something bigger. He dug into Susan's history online. She'd been HOA president for 3 years, but posts on local forums painted her as a bully. People said she'd fined them for nothing or blocked their dock access over petty issues, like a misplaced rope. Ryan saved the complaints, building a file. Susan wasn't new to this game, but neither was he. He was already outsmarting her. The next morning, Ryan met Jake at a diner. He played the footage. Jake's jaw dropped. "This is criminal trespass. We can sue, but let's go bigger. Expose her to everyone." Ryan nodded. He wanted his cabin back, but more than that, he wanted Susan's grip on the neighborhood broken. As he left, his phone buzzed. The tracker showed Susan's car heading to the dock. Ryan's pulse raced. Game on. Ryan gripped his phone, watching the tracker app, as Susan's car pulled up to the Lakeview Estates dock. It was barely 9 a.m., and she was already back at his cabin. He parked a block away, hidden behind a row of pines, and switched to his camera feed. Susan stepped out, clipboard in hand, with a guy Ryan didn't recognize, not the jumpsuit worker from yesterday, but someone in a polo shirt looking nervous. Susan pointed at the cabin's solar panel, her voice sharp through the hidden mic. That's the problem. It's an eyesore. Get it down. The guy hesitated. He's got cameras, Susan. I saw one yesterday. Susan laughed. He's not that smart. Just do it. Ryan's stomach twisted, not with fear, but with the thrill of catching her again. Susan was doubling down, and he was ready. He texted Jake. She's at the dock now, messing with my solar panel. Got it on video. Jake replied instantly. Stay calm. Record everything. I'm drafting a cease and desist letter. Ryan smirked. Susan was digging her own grave, but he needed more than video to bury her. He needed her to slip up in front of others. He drove closer, parking just out of sight, and walked to the dock, acting casual. Susan froze when she saw him, her clipboard slipping slightly. Ryan, she said, forcing a smile. We're just inspecting. Your panel violates code. Ryan crossed his arms. Funny, I got approval for it 2 years ago. Want me to pull the paperwork? The polo shirt guy shifted uncomfortably, glancing between them. Susan's smile tightened. We'll discuss this at the next meeting. Don't make a scene. Ryan didn't back down. You changed my lock without notice. That's illegal. I'm guessing you didn't tell the board. Susan's eyes flicked to the guy, who looked ready to bolt. This is HOA business, she snapped. Leave, or I'll call security. Ryan shrugged. Go ahead. I've got nothing to hide. He walked away, but not before noticing the guy whispering to Susan, clearly spooked. Ryan's cameras caught every word. I'm not touching that panel. He knows something. Back in his car, Ryan checked the footage. The guy had pointed out one of his cameras, proving they knew he was watching. Susan's mistake was underestimating him. He called his neighbor Maria, a single mom who'd clashed with Susan over a too bright porch light. Maria picked up, her voice warm but tired. Ryan, you okay? I heard about the lock. Ryan got straight to the point. Susan's at my dock again, trying to remove my solar panel. I've got proof she's breaking rules. You in? Maria paused, then said, she fined me $200 last month for nothing. I'm in. Maria's human touch grounded Ryan. She wasn't just a neighbor. She was someone else Susan had hurt. They met at her place, where her kids played in the yard, laughing over a soccer ball. It reminded Ryan of simpler times, before Emily's illness. Maria watched the footage, her eyes wide. She said that? On camera? Ryan, this could end her. Ryan nodded. I'm not stopping at the lock. She's been bullying everyone. We need to show the neighborhood. Maria had an idea. There's a community barbecue tomorrow. Susan always gives a speech. What if we play the footage there? Ryan loved it, a public takedown. But he needed more ammo. He checked his tracker app. Susan's car was now at the HOA clubhouse. He drove there, parking across the street. Through the window, he saw Susan with a polo shirt guy and another woman, flipping through papers. His cameras at the dock pinged, a new alert. Someone had tried to access his smart lock again, but it failed. The app logged an unfamiliar device ID. Another twist. Susan wasn't working alone. Ryan called Jake again. She's got people helping her, and someone just tried hacking my lock. I've got the device ID. Jake sounded excited. That's attempted unauthorized access. Send me the logs. We'll add it to the lawsuit. Ryan sent the data, then dug into the device ID online. It traced to a cheap tablet registered to a local tech shop. A quick call to the shop revealed the buyer, Susan's nephew, Tim, a college kid who'd done odd jobs for the HOA. Ryan's mind raced. Susan was using family to cover her tracks. He met Maria again that evening, sharing the new twist. Maria shook her head, sipping coffee. Her nephew? That's low even for her. Ryan showed her the tracker logs, proving Susan's movements. Maria's eyes lit up. My friend Lisa works at the county office. She can check if Susan's filed any permits for these inspections. Bet she hasn't. Ryan grinned. Maria's human connection was turning this into a team effort, making it feel less like his lone fight. Before bed, Ryan checked the cameras again. At 1 a.m., Susan returned to the dock, alone this time, carrying a small bag. She knelt by the solar panel, fumbling with a tool, but stopped when a car's headlights swept by. She scurried off, leaving something behind, a screwdriver. Ryan's heart raced with a new clue. He'd grab it at dawn before she could. Susan was unraveling, and every move she made gave him more power. The barbecue was tomorrow, and with Maria's help, he'd make sure the neighborhood saw her for who she was. Ryan woke before dawn, his mind buzzing with Susan's late-night fumble at the dock. The screwdriver she'd left behind was a gift. She was getting sloppy. He drove to the cabin, the lake still dark, and found the tool half buried in the dirt near the solar panel. He bagged it carefully, knowing it might have her prints. His cameras had caught her dropping it, another nail in her coffin. Today was the community barbecue, and with Maria's help, he'd show everyone Susan's true colors. At Maria's house, her kitchen smelled of fresh coffee and pancakes. Her kids, Sophia and Leo, giggled over breakfast, their chatter a reminder of what Ryan fought for, a neighborhood where people could live without fear. Maria handed him a USB drive. Lisa checked the county records. Susan never filed permits for any dock inspections. She's been making it up. Ryan's eyes lit up. This was huge, proof Susan was acting outside her authority. "You're a genius," he said. Maria laughed. "Just fed up. Let's take her down." They planned the barbecue reveal. Maria would distract Susan during her speech, giving Ryan time to connect his laptop to the pavilion's projector. The footage of Susan changing the lock, plotting to remove his panel, and sneaking around at night would play for all to see. But Ryan wanted more leverage. He checked the tracker app. Susan's car was at her house, but a new camera alert pinged. Someone had tripped the motion sensor at the dock at 4 a.m. He pulled the footage and froze. It wasn't Susan. It was Tim, her nephew, prying at the cabin's window with a crowbar. Ryan's jaw tightened. Tim wasn't just running errands. He was breaking in. The video showed him failing to open the window, then texting someone before leaving. Ryan traced the device ID from the earlier hack attempt. It matched Tim's tablet. He called Jake. "Susan's nephew tried to break into my cabin. I've got video and the device logs." Jake sounded stunned. "This is conspiracy now. Send it over. We'll add it to the lawsuit." Ryan sent the files, his mind racing. Why was Tim so desperate to get inside? He met Maria at the barbecue setup, where neighbors set up tables and grills. The air smelled of charcoal and sunscreen, kids running around with water balloons. It felt like a real community, one Susan didn't belong in. Maria introduced Ryan to Lisa, the county worker, who whispered, "I found something else." Susan's been funneling HOA funds to a landscaping company owned by her cousin. No bids, no board approval. Ryan's pulse quickened. Another twist. Susan was stealing. He saved Lisa's email with the evidence, ready to share it at the barbecue. As they set up the projector, Ryan noticed Tim across the field, talking to a guy in a baseball cap. His gut said trouble. He zoomed in with his phone's camera. The guy was the polo shirt worker from yesterday, and he looked nervous, handing Tim a small envelope. Ryan texted Maria. "Tim's here with the worker guy. They're up to something." Maria replied, "Keep an eye on them. I'll watch Susan." Ryan followed at a distance, blending with the crowd. Tim slipped the envelope into his pocket and headed toward the dock. Ryan tailed him, staying low. At the dock, Tim knelt by the cabin's power box, pulling wires. Ryan's cameras caught it all, but he needed to know what was in that envelope. He called out, "Hey Tim, what's up?" Tim jumped, dropping the envelope. He scrambled to grab it, but Ryan saw a flash of green, cash. "Just checking the wiring," Tim stammered, bolting toward the barbecue. Ryan picked up the envelope. Inside was $500 and a note. "Finish the job tonight." Susan's handwriting. He texted Maria the photo. "She's paying Tim to sabotage my cabin." Maria replied, "Bring it to the barbecue. This ends now." Ryan headed back, but another alert hit his phone. The tracker showed Susan's car leaving her house, heading away from the barbecue. Where was she going? He checked the dock cameras. A new figure appeared, an older woman, not Susan, tampering with the lock. Ryan recognized her from HOA meetings. Susan's sister, Diane, who'd always backed her. Another accomplice. Ryan's head spun with the layers of Susan's scheme. He called Jake again. Susan's sister is at my dock, messing with the lock. I've got cash, a note, and video of Tim. It's a whole operation. Jake laughed grimly. This is a gold mine. Get to the barbecue and show it all. Ryan raced back, the envelope burning a hole in his pocket. At the pavilion, Maria waved him over. Susan was already at the podium, starting her speech about community values. Maria whispered, "Ready?" Ryan nodded, plugging in the laptop. The crowd was about to see Susan's lies unravel. But just as he hit play, Tim burst into the pavilion, shouting, "He's lying. Ryan's the one breaking rules." All eyes turned to Ryan. Susan smirked from the podium, sensing an escape. Ryan's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. The footage was his weapon, and he was about to fire. Tim's shout echoed through the pavilion, accusing Ryan of breaking rules. The crowd murmured, eyes darting between him and Susan, who stood at the podium with a smug grin. Ryan held his ground, his laptop ready to play the footage. Maria gave him a quick nod, her confidence steadying him. This was their moment. He hit play, and the projector lit up with Susan's voice. "Hurry up. He's gone till tonight." The video showed her directing the lock change, then plotting to remove his solar panel, and finally sneaking around at night. Gasps rippled through the neighbors. Susan's face paled, but she recovered fast. "This is fake," she yelled, pointing at Ryan. "He's edited it to frame me." Tim jumped in. "Yeah, he's been hacking our systems." Ryan stayed calm. He'd expected this. "If it's fake," he said, holding up the envelope, "explain this." He pulled out the cash and note in Susan's handwriting. "Finish the job tonight." The crowd leaned forward, whispering. Maria stepped up, her voice clear. "And explain why you never filed permits for dock inspections, Susan." "We checked with the county." The pavilion erupted in chatter. Susan stammered, "That's not mine." But the damage was done. Ryan switched the footage to Tim prying at his window. Then Diane, Susan's sister, tampering with the lock. Neighbors recognized Diane, muttering about her constant support for Susan's rules. A new twist hit Ryan's phone, a camera alert from the dock. He checked it discreetly. Susan's car was there now, despite her being at the barbecue. Someone else was driving it. He whispered to Maria, "Her car's at my dock. She's got another accomplice." Maria's eyes widened. "Go. I'll handle this." Ryan slipped out, trusting her to keep the crowd focused. He drove to the dock, parking out of sight. A woman he didn't know was at his cabin, spray painting violator on the door. His cameras caught her face, clear as day. Ryan snapped a photo and called Jake. "Another person's vandalizing my cabin. I've got video and a picture. Who is she?" Jake paused, then said, "Send me the photo. Sounds like Susan's hiring muscle." Ryan sent it, his mind reeling. Susan's network was bigger than he'd thought. Jake called back minutes later. "That's Carla, a property manager Susan worked with last year. She's got a rap sheet for petty theft. This is serious, Ryan." Ryan's anger flared, not just for himself, but for every neighbor Susan had bullied. He drove back to the barbecue, where Maria was fielding questions. Susan was cornered, but still fighting. "You can't trust him," she shouted. "He's been spying on all of us." A few neighbors hesitated, unsure. Ryan saw his chance. He stepped forward, holding up the screwdriver from Susan's late-night visit. "This has your prints, Susan. You dropped it by my solar panel. And I've a video of Carla spray painting my cabin right now." He played the new footage. The crowd went silent, then exploded in outrage. Mr. Larson, an older neighbor, stood up. "She fined me $300 for my mailbox last year. No proof, just her word." Others chimed in, sharing stories of Susan's fake violations. The human toll of her actions hit hard. Family stressed, savings drained. Maria seized the moment. "We're calling an emergency HOA meeting tomorrow to vote her out. Who's with us?" Hands shot up, even from Susan's usual supporters. Tim tried to slip away, But Lisa blocked him. "You're not going anywhere," she said. "We know about the cash." Ryan's phone buzzed again, another alert. The tracker showed Susan's car heading to a storage unit on the edge of town. He showed Maria. "She's hiding something. I'm going." Maria nodded. "Be careful. I'll rally everyone here." Ryan drove to the storage facility, his headlights cutting through the dusk. Susan's car was parked by Unit 12. He crept closer, staying low. Through a crack in the gate, he saw Carla loading boxes into the car. His camera glasses, worn just in case, recorded it all. One box was open, stuffed with HOA files and cash. Ryan's gut twisted. Susan was covering her tracks, maybe even planning to skip town. He texted Jake, found her stash. "Files, cash, everything. What now?" Jake replied, "Get proof and call the sheriff. Don't confront her." Ryan snapped photos, but Carla spotted him. "Hey," she yelled, charging toward him. Ryan bolted to his car, heart racing, and peeled out. Carla didn't follow, but his glasses caught her license plate. Back at the barbecue, Maria was wrapping up. The crowd was united, planning to oust Susan. Ryan showed her the photos. "She's got stolen HOA money in a storage unit," he said. Maria hugged him, her relief palpable. "You did it, Ryan." But it wasn't over. As Ryan drove home, his cameras pinged again. Someone was at the dock, Diane, with a gas can. Ryan's blood ran cold. Susan's family was going for broke. He called the sheriff, sending all his evidence. The barbecue had lit a fire under the neighborhood, but Susan's next move could burn everything down. Ryan sped toward the dock, his phone pressed to his ear as the sheriff's dispatcher confirmed a patrol was on the way. Diane, Susan's sister, had been caught on his cameras with a gas can, lurking near his cabin. The thought of his late wife's dream going up in flames fueled his urgency. He'd already sent the sheriff all his evidence, videos, photos, the screwdriver, and the storage unit stash. But Diane's move meant Susan's crew was desperate, and desperate people were dangerous. He pulled up a block from the dock, spotting a sheriff's cruiser already there. Diane was gone, but the gas can sat by the cabin steps, a chilling warning. Deputy Harris, a gruff man with tired eyes, met Ryan. "Your cameras caught her, but she's not here. We'll dust the can for prints." Ryan showed him the latest footage. Harris frowned. "This is escalating. Susan's got a lot of people in her pocket." Ryan nodded. "Check her storage unit. She's hiding HOA money there." Harris radioed it in, promising to follow up. Ryan's phone buzzed, a text from Maria. "Emergency meetings set for 7 p.m. Susan's losing allies. Stay safe." He felt a surge of gratitude for Maria. Her strength reminded him of Emily, who'd always rallied people for what was right. He drove to her place to prep for the meeting. Her living room was cozy, filled with kids' toys and family photos. Sophia, her daughter, tugged Ryan's sleeve. "Are you going to fix the mean lady?" Ryan smiled. "Working on it, kid." Sophia's innocence grounded him. This fight was for families like hers. Maria handed him a stack of printouts. Lisa dug deeper. Susan's cousin's landscaping company got $50,000 from HOA funds last year, no receipts. Neighbors are furious. Ryan flipped through the papers, spotting a new twist. One payment went to a shell company linked to Tim's tablet. Susan's nephew wasn't just a lackey. He was profiting. Ryan texted Jake. "Tim's tied to a shell company. Check this out." Jake replied, "This is fraud. I'm filing a criminal complaint tomorrow." As they strategized, Ryan's tracker app pinged. Susan's car was back at the storage unit. He showed Maria. "She's moving the evidence." Maria grabbed her keys. "Let's go. We'll tail her, but no hero stuff." They drove to the storage facility, parking out of sight. Susan was there, loading boxes into her car with Carla. Ryan's camera glasses recorded it all. But then a pickup truck pulled up, and the polo shirt guy from the barbecue stepped out, arguing with Susan. His voice carried. "You said this was clean. I'm out." He stormed off, leaving Susan fuming. Ryan whispered, "He's bailing. She's losing control." Maria nodded, but her face tensed as Carla spotted their car. "Ryan, go," she hissed. He hit the gas, peeling out before Carla could reach them. Back at Maria's, they reviewed the footage. The polo shirt guy's defection was gold, but Ryan's cameras pinged again. Someone had tripped the dock sensor at 3 p.m. He pulled the video and froze. It was Mr. Larson, the older neighbor, leaving a note on the cabin door. Ryan drove to the dock, wary of another trick. The note read, "Meet me at the diner, 5 p.m. I know Susan's next move. Larson." Ryan's gut screamed trap, but Larson's story at the barbecue about Susan's find felt real. He met Larson at the diner, where the old man sipped coffee, his face lined with regret. "I helped Susan early on," he confessed. "She paid me to report neighbors' violations. I stopped when I saw how she hurt people." Ryan leaned forward. "What's she planning?" Larson lowered his voice. "She's forging documents to claim your cabins on HOA land. She wants to sell it." Ryan's blood boiled, but he stayed cool. "Got proof?" Larson slid him a USB drive. "Copies of her emails. She's been emailing a lawyer about it." Ryan thanked him, promising to keep his name out. Back home, he checked the USB. The emails were real, detailing Susan's plan to seize his cabin for unpaid fines she'd fabricated. But another twist hit. His cameras caught Tim at the dock again, planting a fake condemned sign. Ryan called the sheriff, sending the new video. Harris replied, "We're raiding the storage unit now. Stay put." At the 7 p.m. meeting, the community center was packed. Maria took the mic, laying out Susan's crimes, the lock, the funds, the vandalism. Ryan played the latest footage. Tim's sign, Carla's spray paint, Diane's gas can. Neighbors shouted, demanding Susan's removal. Susan wasn't there, but Tim was, shrinking in his seat. Then, Ryan's phone rang. It was Harris. "We got the storage unit. Cash, files, and a burner phone with Susan's prints. She's on the run." Ryan's eyes met Maria's. The net was closing, but Susan was still out there, and his cabin wasn't safe yet. The community center buzzed with anger as neighbors demanded Susan's ouster. Ryan's footage of Tim's fake sign and Diane's gas can had sealed her fate, but Deputy Harris's call about Susan's escape hung heavy. She was on the run, and Ryan's cabin was still at risk. Maria rallied the crowd. "We vote her out tonight and elect a new president." Cheers erupted, but Ryan's phone pinged, a dock camera alert. Someone was there now. He showed Maria. "I'm checking it out," he said. She grabbed his arm. "Not alone. I'm coming." They drove to the dock, the lake glinting under moonlight. Ryan's cameras caught a figure in a hoodie cutting his boat's mooring lines. He zoomed in Carla, Susan's hired muscle. Ryan whispered, "She's sabotaging my boat." Maria dialed Harris, who said, "We're tracking Susan." "Stall Carla." Ryan stepped into view. "Carla, you're on camera." "Stop." She froze, then bolted, dropping a knife. Ryan grabbed it, another piece of evidence. Maria shook her head. "Susan's turning everyone into criminals." Back at the meeting, Ryan played the new footage. Neighbors gasped. Lisa stood up. "I found more." Susan's lawyer emailed her about forging a deed to Ryan's cabin. "It's fraud." The crowd roared, but a new twist hit. Tim stood, voice cracking. "She made me do it. The sign, the tablet, she paid me." He handed over his phone, showing texts from Susan ordering the fake sign. Ryan saw pain in Tim's eyes, a kid caught in his aunt's web. It humanized the fight. Susan had hurt her own family. Ryan's tracker app pinged. Susan's car was at a gas station 20 miles away. He texted Harris, who replied, "Got her location. Stay put." But Maria had news. "My cousin saw Susan at the station buying a burner phone." Ryan's gut twisted. Susan was planning something big. He checked his cameras again. A new video showed Diane at the dock hours earlier, hiding a small box under the cabin steps. Ryan raced back with Maria, finding a burner phone and a note. "Burn it if I'm caught." Susan had planned arson all along. Harris called. "We arrested Carla at the gas station. Susan's still loose, but we're close." Ryan sent the burner phone video. The meeting ended with Susan voted out and Maria elected interim president. Neighbors hugged, sharing stories of Susan's bullying. Mr. Larson patted Ryan's shoulder. "You gave us our neighborhood back." Ryan thought of Emily, who'd love this lake. He was fighting for her too. But as he drove home, his cameras pinged again. A car idled by the dock, Susan's. She was back, alone, holding a lighter. Ryan called Harris, his voice steady. "She's at my cabin. Hurry." The fight wasn't over, and Susan's last stand was about to unravel. Ryan's headlights cut through the dark as he raced to the dock, Susan's car idling in his camera feed. She stood by his cabin, a lighter in hand, her face twisted with defiance. He'd called Deputy Harris, who was 10 minutes out. Ryan parked a block away, his mind sharp. This was his cabin, Emily's dream, and Susan wouldn't burn it down. He texted Maria. "Susan's at the dock with a lighter. Sheriff's coming." Maria replied, "I'm bringing neighbors. Hold her off." Ryan crept closer, his camera glasses recording. Susan poured liquid from a small canister around the cabin's base, gasoline from the smell. His cameras caught every move. He stepped into view, voice calm. "Susan, you're done. The sheriff's on the way." She spun, lighter flickering. "You ruined everything," she spat. "This cabin's an eyesore and you're a nobody." Ryan held up his phone, streaming live to Maria. "Everyone's watching, Susan. Drop the lighter." She hesitated, then laughed. "You think you've won? I've got friends in high places." A car pulled up, Diane, her sister, with a man Ryan didn't know. A new twist. The man was Councilman Reed, a local politician Susan had bragged about knowing. Reed looked uneasy. "Susan, this is too far," he said. "I only helped with permits." Ryan's glasses caught it all. Susan's political ally was crumbling, and his footage was proof. Maria arrived with neighbors, Lisa, Larson, and others, phones out, recording. Susan's face fell as the crowd grew. Maria shouted, "You're caught, Susan. Give up." Sirens wailed, and Harris's cruiser screeched in. Susan dropped the lighter, but Diane lunged for it. Ryan tackled the gas can, kicking it away. Harris cuffed Diane, then Susan, reading their rights. Reed tried to slip away, but Lisa blocked him. "You're not leaving," she said. "We heard everything." At the sheriff's station, Ryan gave his footage, Susan's arson attempt, Reed's admission, and the storage unit evidence. Harris shook his head. "This is the biggest HOA scam I've seen. Susan's facing arson, fraud, and conspiracy." Ryan felt relief, but also sorrow. Susan had torn the neighborhood apart, hurting people like Maria's kids, who just wanted a safe home. He thought of Emily, who'd have cheered this fight. Back at the dock, neighbors gathered to clean the gasoline and fix Ryan's boat lines. Maria brought coffee, her smile warm. "You gave us our community back," she said. Ryan nodded, thinking of Sophia's question about the mean lady. But a final twist hit. His cameras caught Tim at the dock earlier, leaving a letter. Ryan found it under a rock. "I'm sorry. I told the sheriff about the shell company. Tim." The kid had turned on Susan, seeking redemption. Ryan drove home, the cabin safe. Susan's reign was over, but the scars lingered. He'd won, but at a cost. The neighborhood was healing, and he'd make sure it stayed that way. Ryan stood on his dock, the cabin's new lock gleaming in the morning sun. Susan and Diane were in custody, facing charges from arson to fraud. The neighborhood was free, but Ryan felt the weight of the fight. He'd saved Emily's dream, but the scars of Susan's reign lingered. Maria called, her voice bright. "HOA meeting tonight. We're rewriting the rules. You coming?" Ryan smiled. Wouldn't miss it. He owed it to the community and to Emily. At the community center, neighbors packed the room, their chatter hopeful. Maria, now HOA president, outlined fair rules. No fake fines, no power grabs. Ryan felt pride watching her lead. But a twist hit. His phone pinged with a dock camera alert. He checked it, expecting nothing, but froze. A stranger was at his cabin, taping a legal notice to the door. He whispered to Maria, "Someone's at my dock. I'm going." She nodded. "Hurry back." Ryan drove to the dock, finding the notice, a lawsuit from Councilman Reed, claiming Ryan's footage defamed him. Reed wasn't done. Ryan's cameras caught the stranger, a process server, texting Reed, "It's done." Ryan called Jake. "Reed's suing me for the video." "What now?" Jake laughed. He's bluffing. Your footage is evidence, not defamation. I'll countersue for corruption. Ryan sent Jake the new video, his resolve firm. Reed wouldn't win. Back at the meeting, Ryan shared the lawsuit news. Neighbors rallied. Lisa stood. Reed pushed Susan's fake permits. I've got emails proving it. She handed Ryan a USB drive, another blow to Reed. Then Tim approached, head low. I testified against Susan and Reed, he said. I'm moving away, but I wanted to say sorry. Ryan saw a kid trying to make amends, not a villain. You did right, he said. Tim's nod was small, but real. The next day, Ryan met Jake at the diner. Jake had filed the countersuit, citing Reed's emails and Susan's burner phone logs. Reed's dropping his case, Jake said. He's resigning tomorrow. Ryan felt the win, but it was bittersweet. He thought of Maria's kids, playing free now, and Larson's regret. The human cost of Susan's greed was clear, trust broken, family strained. At the dock, Ryan fixed the cabin's door, neighbors helping. Maria brought Sophia, who hugged Ryan. You beat the mean lady. Ryan laughed, thinking of Emily's love for kids. The moral hit him. One person's fight can lift everyone, but only if they stand together. He looked at the lake, feeling Emily's presence. The cabin was safe, the community reborn. Susan's lock had sparked a fire, but it burned her empire down, not his home.